When you have your first blowout in over 5 years of RVing, you think, well, it's due. You're going to have a blowout from time to time. But on the next travel day, when you have a second blowout, you start to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Have I not been taking care of my tires? Is there something I could have done better? Oh yeah, there it is. I don't think that's repairable. In today's video, we're going to talk about that. What happened to us when we had 2 blowouts in 2 travel days, back to back. What we looked for, what we were thinking about, did we have old tires? Did we not change them early enough? All of those were questions running through our mind. How could we better maintain our tires? We did an awful lot of research and we'll share the results of those with you.
I'm Nancy.
I'm Steve.
And we are living our dream.
To travel the U.S., Canada, and beyond, and living the lessons taught to us by our pets.
Keep smiling.
And be kind.
Join us on our travels by subscribing to our channel as we continue our great adventure.
Well, it's 11:30. We're about to pull out of Tractor Supply. So we were able to get out of the campground by 11 o'clock. Topped off our propane here. We'll do gas halfway between here and Fishkill, New York. Destination Cracker Barrel. Hopefully we can find a spot there. That's the plans today. It's starting our trip south.
It was only 20 minutes later that we experienced our first ever blowout on our motorhome. Now, we've been traveling for over 5 years with RVs, the motorhome and our trailers, and had never experienced a blowout until now.
Well, it finally happened to us. We were about 30 minutes into our drive and we heard a loud, what sounded like a gunshot. Sure enough, it was a blowout. It was on one of our rear tires, so we've got dualies back there. So didn't lose control, didn't feel any wobble, was able to pull off, but we are on a busy highway. We do have CoachNet service, so we've called them. It's now about 12:20, and we'll see how long this takes us.
Well, you got to see the bright side of everything. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been front tired. Could have, because Steve was in the far left lane, not the furthest left lane. It could have been that.
It could have caused damage.
Could have caused damage, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody that didn't get damage, to pretty significant damage to their body of the bus. And you know, we're pretty lucky. It's lunchtime. So we decided, let's have some lunch. Make some sandwiches while we wait. Hopefully it's not too long.
I said, get as close to those as possible.
Okay.
For exactly the same reason you said.
That makes me feel good.
Oh, yeah.
State troop. Done with the state troop.
So highway patrol. Oh,
Get over just a little bit so you're not in the...
no, but there's cars.
To the
I'm
left.
not pulling over very well.
Is a cop behind us?
That might be the tire. I'm not on the rumble strips.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the inner tire might be go as far as you can.
I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Watch that. Okay. Just didn't want you running over a bottle.
Highway patrol came by. So we're putting our triangles back out. Sitting here on the side of the road, just talking about past roadside experiences. Nancy had an interesting blowout story. Okay, hon, tell us your blowout story.
I don't know what the date is because
Well, you know it was.
But I was on the highway in Memphis in my Volkswagen and had a blowout on the day that Elvis was buried, the day of
funeral.
his funeral, and the traffic was horrendous. And it was a trucker that came to my,
Assistance.
before
Cell phones, before,
Yep. He stopped and he changed the whole thing for me and got me back on the road.
Well, you had a spare.
Yeah, I did have a spare. Yeah.
Did you lose control or just?
No, but I felt it. It was my front right, and immediately it went that way. Fortunately, I was able to keep it, straight, but it wanted to go that way.
Yeah.
And people around you see it, so they kind of or went around me and slowed down. But yeah, that was quite that's how I remember it, because it was the day Elvis was buried.
So I've been sitting here watching the rear view mirror, anticipating how long it would take me to find an open spot, because we're right near road construction. So the 4-lane goes down to 3-lane right up there. So I'm going to have to get into that second lane over pretty quick. And of course, from a start, this thing takes a while. Plus, I'm not going to want to go over 30 miles an hour anyway. 20, 30 miles an hour. We've got 2.7 miles to go to the Cracker Barrel, so we think that's going to be the plan. They can't seem to find a tire on Sunday. And it's either they tow us, but if they tow us, they'd have to put us on a flat tow. So might as well limp on.
That's not going to happen.
On a wing and a prayer.
Yeah, it's
we'll
hard.
probably ask if the state patrol can come by and give us an escort.
You know how hard it would be find a flatbed.
Yeah.
On a Sunday at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Nancy thought she said we could pull right up here, just on the other side of that sign, and sleep the night away. And I said, no, I'm not going.
I think that's a great idea. The cars whizzing by is nature's white noise.
Don't worry, folks. We're not doing that.
No, we're not.
Well,
not that stupid.
Could have been far worse.
There's so many things that could have happened and didn't.
Let's see if we can make it the next 2.7 miles. Then we'll.
This is true.
Puppies seem to be taking it okay. Diamond.
Yeah,
was
Diamond finally
for a while.
settled down.
Mars is down.
Mars and Phoebe are pros here, so they know the drill. Get in the bed.
Yep. We'll check back in when we get to the Cracker Barrel.
Fun! Yeah, we get to go to Cracker Barrel. Woohoo! Cracker Barrel for supper and Cracker Barrel for breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah. Get some grits.
But here's where we are. Parked at Cracker Barrel parking lot. We got the 2 slides out on this side. I did have to move over a little bit because the stairs were bumping into the concrete, to the granite and dirt. Nancy I'll move this car here in a minute and go to a regular parking spot. We're going to leave the slides in on this side. But it is a spot just for RVs. We're at the Cracker Barrel in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And the puppies have been good. I should take them out for a walk. What do you think, girls? I already took Mars out for a walk. He was good. They were all really good. They sat still for over 4 hours. Diamond, she's still a puppy. She was wanting to play and bite things. But so be it. Thank you, Cracker Barrel. We'll be going there for dinner tonight, I'm sure, after we feed the puppies. And for breakfast in the morning, I'm sure. Nancy wants grits. I want the fried okra for the dinner, and Nancy wants grits in the morning. So we always love Cracker Barrel, no matter what time of day it is. And we really love Cracker Barrel when we have a flat tire and we need a place to park for the night. So this is what it looks like inside, with one side of the slides out and the other side of the slides in. So we're going to leave half of it packed up.
Well, that's not anything new.
Yeah. But here's the funny part. We lived with this slide in for 6 months because it was broken. You couldn't get to the shower. So Nancy was smart enough to say, we're going to leave the Berkey out of the shower. Paper towels are in the shower. We're out of paper towels, so we're going to have to use napkins.
No, we can.
Oh, we can put it out if we want to. And that slide is in, but we put the bedroom slide out so we have full access to the bed. Thanks to Rochester Truck. Rochester is near the coast, so he drove 45, 50 miles to get here. But hey, if he's the one that can get a tire and get it on, I'm all for that. So the issue right now is this has got to come off, but we think this is holding it on. Yeah. Oh, really? The opposite thread? Oh, is it?
It's off, yeah. It's reverse thread. I've never seen such a thing.
Well, I'm glad I had those.
That goes over the wheel on too.
Oh, yeah.
That's it right there.
Oh, yeah. There it is. I don't think that's repairable.
Oh. I think so. Day code right there.
116?
116.
So the
first
first
week-
month of 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to start what are usually, how many years? 6 to 8?
Usually people say like after 10, take the tire off.
Okay,
So you got
Good.
2 more years
okay, so,
if you see it.
but if I want to change it at 8, okay,
That would
okay.
right. That's,
So we're not past
no,
prime.
No, you're fine. So,
Okay,
Yeah, that tire's 8 years old.
okay.
Right.
After driving to the Cracker Barrel, Coach Net was able to find someone to replace our tire the next day. But the only tire that we could find was a used tire. Now, we thought we could use that and make it to Red Bay, where we could reassess our overall tire situation and resolve any issues then. For a man that knows what he's doing, it doesn't take long. We got it done. He's already done. He's about to head out right now. Real happy with their service. And I took the turn a little. I was trying to accelerate to get on the highway and I accelerated too early. We're not out of the turn yet. Got to go through turn slow.
Yep. Extra slow.
So, we're on the on-ramp to the Mass Turnpike. And taking the turn onto the on-ramp, refrigerator comes open, spills. Yeah, it's like Nancy says, maybe the RV gods want us to stay up north this winter. Nope. Luckily, within a mile of the on-ramp, there's a rest area here on the turnpike. So we were able to pull off, get off safely, extend the slide so Nancy can clean up the floor. There was an alarm going off, our
The whole time.
propane alarm. And carbon dioxide alarm, which is on the floor, got wet, and I guess that sets it off. So that was adding to the anxiety of knowing there was something all over the floor. RV life, gotta love it.
There is the New York skyline. It is the Big Apple.
After getting the first tire changed, we took to the road the next day and had only traveled about 100 miles when we had our second blowout. Now this time it was on the New Jersey Turnpike.
One day after having a tire changed because of a blowout, we got another blowout. 2 blowouts in 3 days, not the nicest thing to happen. But hey, we were on the New Jersey Turnpike this time, heading south, and we were 2 miles from the Walt Whitman service area. So we were able to pull off the highway into the service area, just like the first time, 3 miles from a Cracker Barrel where we pulled off and stayed. So hopefully they can get out to us. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get the tires today, but we will see. It is about noon, so hopefully, and we're in New Jersey, hopefully they'll be able to find the tires we need. This time, it actually blew out the panel, so we're gonna have to replace the panel when we get to Red Bay. And there's the blowout. And we found out the wire here is to a light that was on the panel, just a little turn signal, so nothing urgent like brakes.
Because both blowouts were on the 2 driver's side rear tires, we figured out that a rock or something had lodged between the 2 tires and must have weakened the tread, causing the blowout so close to each other. Trust me when I say, replacing tires while on the side of the New Jersey Turnpike will be twice as costly as anywhere else.
And this is what the panel is that's missing. Somewhere on the side of the road, I'm sure. So here we are at the service area. There is a trucker's area, but that's pretty full. And I don't know that we could work on it in the trucker's area, so we're going to stay here until somebody kicks us out. It does say 2-hour parking all times. We'll see what they say when they come find out what our situation is, because we can't get on the highway. You guys keeping an eye on things? Yeah, I know.
By the time we got to New Jersey, our first thought was, okay, we had changed one of the rear tires, let's change out the other 3 rear tires. We wanted to stick with Michelin, and the shop that was able to come for the roadside assistance only had 2 of the Michelin tires. Actually, those 2 Michelin tires, because it was the New Jersey Turnpike, ended up to be twice as expensive as a standard new Michelin tire that we ended up buying in Virginia later, as you'll find out. So what we ended up doing in New Jersey was we got the 2 Michelin tires, we changed them out with 2 of the rear tires, the one that had blown and one on the other side. We kept the older tires on the outside of the rear tires, because one of the things that we had heard about was tire rotation was good. Always keep the newest tires on your front driving tires and keep the oldest tires on the outside of the rear tires in our situation, because we have a dually. That way we could always check the date of the oldest tire on the outside and the wear and deterioration of that oldest tire on the outside easily, without having to see the inside tire, knowing the inside tire should be newer than the outside tire. So that's what we did in New Jersey, paying a little extra for those tires. But we started to also worry about that older tire. Now our tires were out of sync. We had 2 tires on the rear end that were of different dates. So we ended up going to Assateague National Seashore for a week, and then on to Williamsburg, Virginia, where we knew we were going to stay a week. And we called ahead to a tire shop in Williamsburg, Virginia. We found that they were going to be able to get 2 brand new Michelin tires for us and change those out. So when we ended up getting to Williamsburg, Virginia, actually it was outside of Williamsburg, a small shop there, we had them put the 2 newest tires on the front, and the back tires were dated 2 different dates. So we put the older tires on the outside and the newer tires on the inside. But I decided I was going to go ahead and catalog those dates. So what I've been doing is keeping a spreadsheet of all the specs on our tire, but not just our tire, our RV. I've got our dimensions, I've got our tank capacities, I've got the standard weights. Now what I did was I stored here the dates of those tires. Not the dates we purchased them, but the dates that are on the tires themselves. So the two front tires, 05, 2024, they're the newest tires. The rear outside tires were those two that were originally on our drive tires. Those had been replaced when we purchased the vehicle in 2022. They were dated the 23rd week of 2021. So those are now on the rear outside. And two of the tires that we had replaced, I think the two tires we got in New Jersey were 01, 2024. Those were on the rear inside.
So we found a local tire shop that could get Michelin's in for us. And on our way to the campground, we stopped by. We're able to turn around in a small parking lot. Now they're changing the tires. Daniel's Welding and Tire Service. Luckily, we don't need any welding or fabrication done. Just tires. So here are the two brand new tires. And their date is the 5th week of the 2024. We're going to put the brand new ones on the front, and the ones on the front are from 2021. We're going to put those on the outside in the back, so that the oldest are in the outside on the back. I'm just supervising. Got an old balancing weight on here, got to get rid of. Just going to use beads to balance. So that's my expensive New Jersey tire from the inside from 2024.
So we know we have the oldest tires on the outside, and what we're going to do is, as those old tires get to between 8 and 10 years old, we're going to buy two new tires, put those on the front. We always want to keep the newest tires on the front. Then we'll rotate the oldest tires to the rear outside and the middle tires to the rear inside. That way, keeping our tires in rotation and without having to look inside and try to find the date on those inside tires, which is something we weren't able to do until we took those off. I now have those cataloged. But we also called Michelin because we wanted to know what was good practice with those Michelin tires. There were a lot of different things that he talked about. There is no standard they can give you. They're tire charts, and they have tire charts for the specific makes of tires that you have that give recommended tire pressures for those tires. We then had a four-corner weigh when we got to Red Bay, so we now know the weight of each corner. And based on the weight of the front and the rear, both left and right side, we now can look up on the chart and find the exact pressures that we should be running those tires at. Interestingly enough, a lot of people online will tell you run at 110, 120 because it's 120 PSI rating on the tires. We found we're closer to 95 or 100 PSI on our tires for our tire pressure. Very specifically, our steer axle is now at 95 PSI and our drive axle is now at 105 PSI. I then set some low pressure alarms and high pressure alarms from those so that my tire pressure monitoring system, which did alarm us as soon as we had the blowouts, we heard what sounded like a gunshot, and then immediately my TPMS, our tire pressure monitoring system, started to sound an alarm because of low pressure immediately. So that's how I knew it was a blowout on one of the rear tires, because my monitoring system told me that. But now I have a low pressure alarm and a high pressure alarm set on those tires, both front and rear, based on a percentage variance from the standard tire pressure that you set. Also, the Michelin tire expert that I spoke with on the phone, you want to take those, mentioned that you want to take those tire pressures in the morning during the cooler temperatures, because the temperatures will go up. That was another thing I asked about. Sometimes I will see the temperatures go up 20, 30 degrees easily when you're driving. And if you're driving in the summer, 40 degrees. The tires are rated to be able to be driven at 100-degree temperature outside on the desert in Arizona. So those temperatures are going to be going up and they might alarm you, and sure, you can drive and not let them overheat. But they are rated to be able to deal in those high temperatures and cold temperatures as well. But when you have colder temperatures, like we do up in the north sometimes, the tire pressure will start to go down and you're going to want to reinflate your tires when that happens. Another early purchase for our RV was this Via air compressor. Now, because we've got a motorhome, the tire pressures on our rig can run up to 120 psi, so we needed an air compressor that could do that. This one can hook directly up to the battery. It has a long extension hose that allows us to hook the air compressor up at the front and go all the way back to all the rear tires. And this very convenient filler with a gauge. And this is an analog gauge that absolutely I feel confident in, and we double check it with our tire pressure monitoring system. So always have an air compressor, because maintaining your tires means maintaining your air pressure as well. So good care and maintenance of those tires. Keep the tire rotation, the newest tires on the front. Keep the oldest tires on the outside where you can see them. That's standard good practice. The Michelin tire expert confirmed that that's good practice, and that's what we're going to be doing going forward. We're going to obviously monitor our tire pressure every time we take a trip. I have the TPMS loaded up. I actually check the tire pressure the day before we're going to get on the road again, and if I need to air them up, I will air them up with my Via air compressor. Works great on those situations. The tread on the tires is usually not what you're going to have to worry about, though you always check your tread. It's usually going to be deterioration of the tires, and if you're letting them sit in the sun, that can deteriorate them and make them age much quicker. Now, I knew taking care of tires was going to be important, so one of the first accessories we bought for the RV were these tire covers. These help protect the tires from the sun when we're staying longer than a couple of days at a campsite. So we've been using these since we purchased the RV, and we'll continue to use them in the future. This was an ordeal. We had 2 blowouts in 2 days, but luckily, each time we were able to limp off to the side. On the dualies, it was one of the rear tires, it was on the inside. We were able to drive 2 miles going 30, 35 miles an hour on the highway to get off the highway to a rest area, or in the first case to a Cracker Barrel, and we were able to get service at each of those. So that was on our side. Bad thing, we had 2 blowouts in 2 days, and we ended up changing all 4 of those rear tires. 2 of those tires cost us twice as much as they would have cost us had we been able to get to Virginia and replace all 4 tires in Virginia, but lesson learned. So we keep check of our dates of our tires, we keep check of the tire pressures now. We're checking the tires to see if there's any nail or something that's sticking out of them from time to time. After or before each trip, we'll try to just, look through the tires. But it's always good to go check those. The sidewalls you can check. It's not always easy to check the sidewalls on the dualies inside. You can get a mirror, you can get a remote camera, stick a GoPro down there and take a video of the inside of the tire. Anything you can do just to check those tires from time to time, because that's what happened to us. Basically, the interiors must have gotten rubbed by a rock or something that was inside of there because it blew within 2 days of each other, very close to each other. So that's what we suspected had happened to us. So take care of your tires and your tires will take care of you. That's what we've learned.
Yeah, and a big torque wrench.
Now we finally feel comfortable once again with our tires and are all set till at least 2029 or so, when we will start to consider replacing the 2 oldest tires. In next week's video, we will discuss our decision to install the Rettroband run flaps on our 2 front tires as an extra precaution against blowouts on our steering tires. Till then, safe travels to all, and remember, keep smiling and be kind.